Good evening, YouTube. This is a sound test. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Testicles. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Can you all hear me okay? We're having some technical issues tonight. Technical difficulties. I think he's my guest. So we're in lockdown 3. The trilogy is back. I know I said I wasn't going to do it again, but why not? I've got nothing else I can do on a Friday or Saturday night, so I thought, you know what? I'll bring back the stream. Got a lot of people in the chat. Some people for the first time, I believe. Chili28, hello. We got James, Time Warp James. Burnt Out Culture Mark. He can obviously join us tonight because it's not date night, so he doesn't have to watch what he's doing. So I'm just going to hold the fort for a bit because my guest is having a few technical issues, which doesn't bode well for him because he's got a busy year coming up. Fucking Ross and his stupid fucking channel name, Baha or whatever it is that no one can fucking pronounce. Raz is in. Where is he? Hello, Raz. How's it going, mate? You all right? So what I'm going to do is hope Scott can hear me and he's going to put his thumbs up when he's ready to fucking come on. Because he's having trouble with it breaking up and him hearing me. So who's working? Let's get a 1 in the comments if you're still having to work. I'm having to fucking work. Sort him out, will ya? He didn't turn up till a minute before we were due to go on air as well. Nerdy Geezer, hello. Welcome to the stream. So basically, if you've not watched one of these before, originally when I first started doing them, it was 5 nights a week, 2 guests. And I think I did about 30 summer. We got through a lot of tubers, put it that way. Then last lockdown, which I thought was going to be the last lockdown. Stu, you don't fucking get to work anyway. You sit at fucking home drinking fizzy piss. So the second lockdown, though, I thought was going to be the last lockdown. I thought I'll do weekly specials. Then, of course, old dickhead. I thought, that's it. Fucking 2020, end of all the streams, do something else, 2021. Not even a week in, we're in lockdown. So, is he panicking, is he? So, we're in the first week of 2021. We put back into lockdown, and I thought, you know what? We're potentially going to be here for 6 weeks. So, I'll start doing the weekly specials again. Now, I've got a guest lined up. I mean, he's here. I just don't know what he's fucking doing. Give me a wave, Scott. I can see him. He's fucking about with wires. JB, we're not in bed. We've got my friend in from school, Martin Hafner, who will not know what the fuck is going on. But hello, Martin. Marcus, good evening. I know you've not been able to catch the streams recently, but it's good to see you back in the chat. Stu's just fucking flirting because he's the first female he spoke to in fucking 20 years. So anyway, I've got a stream lined up for tonight. I've got one lined up for next week. And we'll go from there. I'm going to probably get to Fridays because I'm having to work around Jay, who, if you don't know, is LKG. You know, he's doing his social distance podcast. So he normally does Saturday night. So I'm going to try and fit in on a Friday. But to be honest, this was fucking Saturday was my spot originally, so I ought to fucking go back to it really. And if needs must, I will be. But this is the original. This is the original lockdown stream. It probably wasn't. Was it a fucking original idea? I don't know. It was a fucking good idea, and it ran well. He's looking, staring at the screen. I've got thumbs up. So, right, I'm going to give him his introduction now. I've got fucking notes. Look how professional I've become. Remember the first stream when I just talked bollocks and the other 30 odd after? So, he is a 2-time YouTuber of the month, the second ever king of the community. I was the fucking first. Current YouTuber of the year. He's the new host of YouTuber of the year, admin on Galaxy Sega and Retro Realm, and he's got over 1,000 subs, and I'm going to introduce you to him all. It's Scott, Sega Zombie. Hello, can you hear me?
Greetings, YouTube. Are you all right?
Fucking hell, Scott, you had me sweating there. I didn't know how much bollocks I could talk. Well, I do. I could talk a lot more, to be fair.
I just wanted you to squirm, mate.
Oh, mate, I swear Jade's giving you shit in the comments, I think, saying you was panicking and on the phone to her. Is that true?
Well, yeah, I was on the phone to her, and then I thought I was going to use my new mic, and it just made everything go wrong. So I can hear you now.
You can get a special. Have you tried the because you're using the iPad, didn't you? There's a converter that converts it to USB. That's what I tried using, and it
Yeah.
gave me a load of shit. To be honest, what we're drinking,
Yeah.
Scott, to start with.
Well, in honor of Tootie, I'm drinking Budweiser.
In the honor of all professional alcoholics, I'm drinking Strongbow Dark Fruit. So I have got some notes for tonight, Scott. But the first thing I want to do is congratulations on winning YouTuber of the Year. Congratulations on being the new host. And I think we'll start there. How have you found being the new host? Because I know I was talking to you a little bit last night, so I have a little inside information, but I've told no one nothing.
Well, it's daunting because, you know, it's a competition that's been running a long time now. And I know most of the UK community are wanting me to revert it back. So my main plan is to bring YouTuber of the Month back to its roots and bring it back to what it stood for. So yeah, there's a lot on my shoulders with that.
I think you've got it covered, mate. Because I mean, I've gone through a little bit of your history, and you've actually been on YouTube less time than me, which I was not aware of. I always think you as a long time. I started in the February of 2016, and then in November 2016 you started. But I wouldn't have been around when you started because I believe that's when my dad had his heart. He had problems with his heart. He had to have an operation. So like I started YouTube, disappeared, and I've done that a couple of times. But your channel seems to have grown from strength to strength, to be fair, mate.
I kind of started and I put everything into it in the early days because of how you mentioned about Galaxy Sega and Retro Realm. I was predominantly Facebook social media, and so many people were saying, Scott, why don't you do YouTube? You know, and it took me years. I watched guys like Tootie and Pete on a retro tip and some of the American tubers. I was watching all of them for years. And it weren't until Gross and Pete and Tootie and all of them said, why don't you get a YouTube channel? You know, do it. And, you know, it started from there, really.
I've watched literally about an hour before we've gone live. I thought I'm going to go and look at some of Scott's first video. and I can advise anyone who's in the comments to please, once this is finished, go and check a couple of Scott's early videos out because you're a very different person who you are now, to be fair.
Totally. It's crazy. And Jade always picks up on that. She often will put clips of my old videos on, laughing her head off. She's always taking the mick out of me over there.
To be honest, though, I Lee Retro Chef's been taking the mick out of me. He's gone back and watched some of my old videos with my perm and stuff like that. And I think when you start YouTube, it's quite daunting. You don't want, like, I never used to swear. I never used to swear. And I don't think I was relaxed until I started to swear, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like, I started to be myself. Like, not that I was being a fake me. I was just trying to be a little bit less offensive than I can be and a little bit more clean and squeaky cut, just to try and, you know, because if someone turns up to the first video and I'm going, look at this fucking game, it's fucking brilliant, no one's going to watch me. Whereas, like, when you bring in a little bit of an audience and you start to relax and you meet people, I feel much comfortable. Someone said in the WhatsApp group the other day about talking to the camera, it doesn't faze me anymore. Whereas the first ever video I ever did must have took about 40 takes and I nearly just didn't bother.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I can remember my early videos. I didn't even go on the camera. I was behind the camera and people were encouraging me. They were saying, Scott, we want to see your face. Get on screen. Do it, you know. And I absolutely bricked it the first couple of times that I went on camera. It took a while for me to get used to it. And but you just learn over time to just be yourself. That is the best bit of advice. And the best thing you can do is just be you. You know, if you swear, then swear. If, you know, I'm quite, I try to rein in me being too sort of, what's the word? Excited about things, I suppose is a way of putting it. I was trying to be reserved.
In your first, I think I watched the first 3 videos you ever did. You didn't look excited about anything at all, mate. You were sat there with a cup of tea. And I wanted to know is when did the whole greetings YouTube, because that is the one thing that is your intro sort of thing, like
it can't. Well, it's just kind of natural. It was when I moved, and I was so excited to actually have all my stuff out of storage and get it back on and start getting it back on shelves. I think then was when I started to really come out of myself, and I was just like, I just said it once, greetings YouTube, and people sort of caught onto it. And it's just, I always found it really hard to start a video. I always thought, oh, how do I start this? And I just thought we've been doing that, and it kind of took off. People sort of like laugh and joke and take the piss out of it.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I think I did that in my last video. I was the same though, like, and I was quite conscious about stealing other people's like intros, because I remember Carl Woodlin. His one thing always used to be greetings, and he used to say, he used to have initials for the good people of YouTube, but he didn't say greetings YouTube like you. It was just greetings. Yeah. So I just say yes YouTube. That's just what I say at the beginning of my videos. And as you say, it's like a starting point for you to rattle on with what else you're ever going to do anyway.
Yeah. And can you remember that TV sitcom years ago, Bread?
Yeah, I remember Bread.
I can't remember the name of the character, but he always used to go, greetings, like that. That's where I got it from.
Well, the funny thing is me and my old boss at the leisure centre, like literally we worked together for 19 years, and every shift started the same. I'd walk in and say greetings. I'd say greetings back, and then he'd say, what's the word on the street? And then I'd just reply, no parking. That was the fucking way we greeted everyone for each other for every shift for like 19 years. That was the whole conversation that started as we walked in the office. So how are you finding, everyone's asking, they've not said it to you, but they've said it to me. When's the first YouTuber of the month video going to be live? It's
imminent. It's going to be soon. There's been a few little difficulties, little things that I need to know technically. But once that's sorted, the video's shot, the editing's done. It's just going to be literally in the next day or two that will go live.
Stu says Freddie Boswell. She's a top.
Yes.
Or was it Joey Boswell? We've got the whole Boswell family being suggesting here. So, like, you won YouTuber of the Month twice. You won in 2019 and 2020. So you're now a 2-time winner, aren't you?
Yeah.
I so wish you were hosting last year.
Yeah, well, we all know the reasons why there, and do you know what? That's another big thing. There was a lot going on in my life that, and with the dramatic changes in my life, it's brought me out. Do you know what I mean? And you guys have got a lot to do with that. It's mental how much my life has changed.
So I would say, like, I think I saw a comment from was it Nintendo Arcades, Phoenix from the Ashes he mentioned. Mate, you've come out of a very like sad and dark time, and I would say it's a huge comeback, and that's detriment to you as a person, that is, mate. And I think you've done brilliantly doing that.
It's just staying positive,
mate. I was just about to say, like, 2020 was a tough year as for your average Joe. And, with your lockdown, isolation special and stuff like that, you did a lot for the community, and you deserve all the accolades you're getting at the moment, mate. It's much, much deserved.
And I've done it just as much for me as I did for anyone else. Do you know what I mean? It kept me on an even keel, and it gave me something to focus on. So, it's just amazing that other people, it's helped them. You know what I mean? And it's give someone something to watch and to get involved with. So, win-win.
I must say, like, I get a lot of like thanks for my live from lockdown streams, and I'm not the sort of person who takes compliments very well anyway, although I'm a big-headed twat. But like yourself, them lockdown streams were much to keep me focused and sane from what was going on in my real world as well. You know, the pressure of trying to sort out guests, get everything going, kept me focused. It gave me something to look forward to at the end of what had probably been a shit day, if I'm quite honest. So, as you say, those specials and the lockdown streams for me were as much to keep me going as it, and it's just beneficial that everyone else seemed to enjoy them and jump on board, and it's been a massively positive thing for everyone.
Oh, totally. That's the one massive positive. Again, I'm taking a positive from this COVID and this whole lockdown is look what it's done to our community, the retro hobby. You know, it's brought so many people together. Your lockdown live streams have been tremendous. You know, groups that not normally would associate with other groups have been mingling. You've got so much communication and so many people out there now being involved in it all. And I think that's tremendous.
Do you want me to let you in on a little secret? Do you know why I gave you the second ever King community?
I don't know why, but let me in.
Because I just wanted to hear you say the word YouTube and community loads of times in your videos. And it was just like a personal little thing to me. I'm going to send it to Scott just because he says those two words wrong. I don't care what you say them wrong. But I've noticed Jade says them wrong as well. So is it like a fucking Ipswich thing or something?
Yeah. It's the Suffolk accent. We put R's where there shouldn't be R's.
That's the one. That's the word that Jade says wrong.
Yeah, music. Mutant. I can remember when I first started YouTube, everyone wanted me to keep saying mutant.
Oh, mutant. I had to work out what the fuck you were saying there. Let's see what Raz has to say. I'm not even going to take the piss out of Raz because he's a sensitive little soul. I'm going to put my arm around him and be nice to him tonight. But I've got a few list of questions. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. You can put them in capitals. It helps me see them. But you're not just a big Sega fan, because if you look through your videos, there's a lot on the ZX Spectrum, isn't there?
Yeah, totally.
Squads. I know you're a big fan of the hit squad.
Yeah.
So is that where it all began then, the Spectrum, for you, Scott?
Oh, totally. The Spectrum, come home from school, and my dad was sitting there in the living room with a ZX Spectrum 48K, and that's where it all started. From that moment on, I was just obsessed with games.
See, I was never allowed. I was never allowed on a ZX Spectrum because that was my brother's. I had to have my own Amstrad, which was nice having my own thing, but because I was the youngest, my brother could go on whatever he fucking wanted, and I could only go on the Amstrad, sort of thing.
Yeah, but that was what was really cool back then. Is I had a Spectrum. My best mate that lived 5 houses up had an Amstrad, and my other mate had a Commodore 64. So we got the best of all the worlds, really, back then.
Retro Kit wants to know, how much did you cry saying the hit squad lock?
It was a weird one, that, because obviously at the time, hit squad prices had gone through the roof. So I had one track in my mind, was sell these hit squads to get Sega games and the expensive games that I'd have not been able to afford otherwise. So that was a big sort of like, that's what I focused it on. But it was really tough because I'm a collector. I don't like selling, but it was that spurred me on to think, wow, that game that I paid a couple of pounds for is now worth 20 quid. You know, it's not just doubling in price, it's quadrupling. And you know, I just thought, I'm never going to finish the hit squads. You know, Mr. Bads and Dave, you know, they are really passionate, and they so want to finish that set. You know, Mr. Bads is going through all the formats, and for me, yeah, I love the Spectrum, but my nostalgia is what spurs me on. And with the Spectrum, I don't really remember the hit squads that much. I remember having a couple of them. I think I had Chase HQ and Batman, but the rest of them, I had the original big box or dual cases. So for me, I was like, well, I'm not going to finish. I'm not going to get the last 12 I need. Let's just sell them and get games that, you know, I wouldn't have got otherwise. So, you know, it was sad to see them go, but it was,
as you say, it was hard to let them. It was. You say it was hard to let them go, but you've done pretty much the same thing with the Saturn, haven't you? You've like cut the throat of the PAL Saturn and gone for the Japanese. So I see it as you've probably focused yourself and decided, you know what, I'm going to go for this, and I'll
Yeah,
sacrifice that for this. If you know what I mean. I think that's
totally.
probably a good and positive way.
Yeah, and also the hobby is getting so expensive, so you've got to weigh it up and think: am I going to keep a whole bookshelf for these games that I never play, and sacrifice not getting games that I'm going to play? You know, because Jack, you know as well as I do, a lot of these Japanese Saturn games cost a fortune, and if I can get rid of some PAL Saturn games that I'm never going to put in a Saturn, and get the Japanese games I'm going to, then that's a no-brainer. And that's sort of kind of how I've refocused, and the hit squads helped me realise that a bit. I think in letting them go, then I decided on the Sega Saturn.
With the hit squads and the Saturn, it's probably a good time to sell them as well, because I think they're both on the increase at the moment. You know,
yeah, totally.
Will they ever come down? I don't know, but you know, if you've owned them once at cheap price, you're probably never gonna sacrifice buying them at the expensive price later down the road. So it might be a good time to cut your losses with them, maybe, or your gains.
I think with the hits, yeah, I think with the hit squads, they'll probably come down a bit, because I think that the whole lockdown and the popularity of that has kind of escalated and overdone the prices. But with the Sega Saturn, I can't see that ever going down, to be fair. If anything, it's just going to keep going up. So, yeah, once my PAL set's gone, you know, I've still got a shelf or so up there of my most nostalgic ones, but if I'm never going to replace the ones I've sold, you know, I just have them Japanese now.
I prefer the Japanese ones for putting on my shelf, though. I do, compared space saving for a start, because you know, as a collector, space is a premium, and they probably look a lot better as well. You know, I'm looking up at mine. The sides are a uniform, but the cover art again always is better in Japan than it is here.
Yeah. And it's the spines that take the hammering on the PAL Saturn games. You can have one that looks absolutely great, and you look at the spine and it's all worn and chipped away at. Yeah, no, it's definitely better having just the CD cased sort of Japanese equivalent. I think they're a lot better. And like what you said, you save so much space. And going for the full Mega Drive set has taken up so much.
Are they double stacked there on the shelf behind you, the Mega Drive?
No, they're all single and they run all the way down. So I think I need one more of these.
I've got no more space now behind me, so they're going to have to become double stacked eventually. But that's where all your FIFAs and all the shit go behind. That's what I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Before I moved here, I was double stacking all the sports, all the shit went at the back.
We got Pete Tastic in. Hello, Pete. I saw him in a Miko stream the other day. I was just popping in to see what the latest news was. Jay Cybersnake 7, he's 7 off the full set of the C64. That's the hit squads.
Wow, that's really good going, that. Well done, Jay.
Is this a bit of a spoiler for your next video if you tell us the answer of this?
No, I don't mind sharing it. I haven't got the actual list yet, but there's 26.
I thought you'd gone down to 25, or is that definitely a spoil?
I had, but I found a game that I ticked off that I've got Japanese and I haven't actually got it PAL, and that's Filios.
That, you know what, that reminds me. I don't know if he told everyone in his videos. I can't remember now, but I remember when Stu got his, I think it was his full Mega Drive, and he was telling us all, I've got it. And then he went through the games, and he was a few missing that he thought he got, and he ain't got. And we were all, I mean, you know me, I don't give anyone any stick at all, but fucking hell, we did lay in the group a bit. So, do you have any Nintendo at all still now? Obviously, other than Jade's Game Boy, which I'm assuming she's got, but you got rid of the SNES stuff, ain't you?
I've still got the actual American SNES console, but yeah, all the games are gone. What have I got this Nintendo? I've got the Switch. I really enjoy the Switch. I've got the Nintendo. I've got the Wii. But yeah, that's about it, really.
Marcus X-Files, he quit 6 from a... How can you get from 6 from a full set and then jack in?
Ooh.
I'd be too committed by then.
Yeah, you've got to go for it, yeah.
Raz says, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. I'm guessing it's the hockey games that they have in Sweden. I think they are.
Yeah, no, I need Raz to get them for me.
Raz, make a use of yourself in life for a change and sort that out, can you? They're probably everywhere in Sweden, them games. I bet they're right shit. So why was it Sega over Nintendo? Is it just because that's what you had growing up, or... See, because I always think that there's a fondness for Sega because Sega as a company aren't really here anymore. I'm the same. I have rose-tinted glasses towards Sega because they're no longer around.
Well, with me, it was, again, I can remember we went on a family holiday to Skegness and I see Outrun for the first time. And I was just amazed by that game. I see the blue Sega writing on it, and I was like, Sega, my God, who are these? And then I can remember going home, getting my Spectrum. Any game that had Sega written on it, I wanted. And I can remember getting them, and they're all pretty much unplayable, most of them. But then my obsession for it started. I found out that the Master System console was coming out. So I remember saving for that. And yeah, I got a Master System when I was quite fortunate because it was a family, a friend of our family that had it, and he wanted to sell it to get I think it was an Atari ST. He wanted to get a computer, so he sold it to us quite cheap with a bundle of games. And I never looked back. I've stayed with Sega ever since, you know, right the way up until their demise, you know. Skeggy for the win.
You know what? So many times, like me, Skegness is somewhere I've gone to ever since birth. I was nearly born at Skegness because my mum, who's passed away now, her family were all from Skegness. So every year we go 2-3 times a year to visit her family. And I always thought Skegness was just somewhere I went to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But since I've been doing these streams, so many gamers have said that their gaming history, especially arcade, comes from Skegness. Yeah. I almost think there ought to be an event there or something. Just like a fucking nostalgic event to go to Skegness, because the arcades up Skeg, I think, were better than Blackpool because there were so many little seaside places in and like with Blackpool, you've got Blackpool and that's it. Whereas Skeggy, you've got Ingermalls, Mablethorpe, all those little. I always remember there's one place that was just a road with arcades either side. I remember there as a kid.
Yeah.
And it was fucking brilliant, like. But definitely there should be some pilgrimage to Skegness, I think, definitely as a gaming community.
Yeah, we should plan that, definitely.
Nerdy Geezer brings up, I was just starting to watch your video on that, actually, because I've ordered myself a copy of the clamshell copy. I know you and Pete kind of fancy, don't you?
Yeah.
I think that would be available to the public. I thought they were just going to sort out the guys who had been waiting like fucking forever for it.
Well, yeah. Well, the clamshell one, I think in hindsight is the best option because that cardboard cut, that it looks amazing, and it is style over substance though, because that box is going to have to go in a box protector and forever stay in there because it's just going to crease, tear. You know, it's very fragile.
Like you said, it almost needed like that extra bit, like Sonic and Knuckles slide into, or it should have come as an extra option as a display one, maybe, and you got the clamshell as well.
Yeah,
because as you say, the way it falls out, that's just going to get fucked, innit? In layman's terms.
The grade of cardboard is extremely thin as well. It is very fragile, and you know, instead of putting a jock strap in there and what other crap was in it? Yeah, put a clamshell in there as well.
Retro bait. I want to say it properly. To both, what's your favourite gaming music? Well, we'll go to you first, Scott, because you're the guest. I am the mere host.
Well, the Outrun music is, from a nostalgic point of view, that game is, the music to that is just so iconic. But the Streets of Rage 2 music, I think, is amazing as well. So I'd probably go Streets of Rage 2.
See, I blooming was watching LKG and Cooper talking last night, and they were talking about data discs, and I was lying in bed listening. So I fucking go on data disc site, don't I? I've ordered myself 3 records that I probably don't need in my life. Mine's going to be an odd one, and I didn't realise how much I liked the music until I recently picked it up. I started playing it again on the Evercade, and that's the music to Switchblade that I used to play on the Amstrad. It's just a tune that takes me back. Like, I know Jade's a massive Tetris fan. Tetris, when that Game Boy came into my house, oh my God, everyone other than my mom was so competitive. Even my dad doesn't play. My dad had to stop playing Tetris because he went to bed one night and he said his head was moving shapes in his fucking sleep. So the Tetris music is iconic. So I'd probably say either Tetris or Switchblade. As I say, I played that on the Amstrad originally. I'm not too sure what the port is on the Evercade. If you could just put any questions in capital, just so it's easy for me to find. But there's a question here from Gib84 Gordon. Question from Scott and Jay. Tried Tetris Effect on VR yet? Have you tried that? Because you've got the Oculus Quest, didn't you?
Yeah. The Oculus Quest 2 is awesome. But unfortunately, my daughter is on it a lot, and she's hogging it at the minute. So I've got to wait until I can get a go. And yeah, Tetris is the next game I'm getting, definitely. Especially that Gib84 said that you can get the original Game Boy version. You can unlock it. So yeah, that's a massive appeal, that.
I haven't touched my VR in so long, mainly because it's up there and I just can't ask to get it down. But I remember playing a game where you had to header a ball or something. I nearly smashed my flipping self up because, like, you're proper going for it, like. Evening to Dad, lads. I don't know what that's about unless it's that Tetris game. Unless that's some sort of message he should have probably texted you. Okay, we've got a question from Pub Grub Gaming, aka Retro Chef. What is Scott's favourite Sega game ever? So that's going to be a tough one for you. You'll keep it up while you're thinking. Well, I'm getting another beer.
I'm going to sound really predictable here and boring, but I would still say Outrun. Even
I knew you were going to say that.
I still play it. You know, I played it back in 1986 and I still play it now. So I'd definitely say Outrun. Space Harrier, that's another class game. Super Hang On, the original sort of 80s scalar games. I absolutely adore them. I still play them loads now.
I'll just highlight this one before I ask a question. I don't know, man. I'm just reading. My only job here is to read the messages on the side. So if you send something that's like slightly an innuendo, I'm going to use it for comical value, of course. Nerdy Geezer, what is your favourite game genre? That is a good question. It's to you, mate, not me.
I would say shooters, shoot-ups. And yeah, I would say they're my favourite, followed closely by side-scrolling beaters. I absolutely love Streets of Rage, Final Fight, all of them type of games. Absolutely adore them. And Street Fighter 2, played that game to death, you know. So yeah, that's my.
What I'd say is, like, as a kid, I'd never even really recognised game genres. I just liked games. Like, you know, so like obviously like platformers, like for me on the Amstrad, it was rolling on the ropes. So that was probably more like a puzzler or a maze sort of game. Obviously I love shmups, R-Type, and Salamander is my all-time Life Force, whatever you want to call it. Salamander is my all-time favourite shoot 'em up, to be fair.
Brilliant game.
A copy of it on the Famicom. We're getting a lot of questions for you, Scott, which is good. Ginger Hippie Gaming 42, fuck the 42 off side, lose it. Will Scott get another arcade cab? Now, Did you
Yes.
buy your arcade cab from someone, or did you sell? Was it a deal to do with Retro Gamer Daz? Why is that in my head? Was that you? Did you
No,
buy
I
his
bought.
Operation Wolf?
Yeah, I bought Retro Gamer Daz's Operation Wolf. That was originally Dave, Nintendo Arcade, Pinball Dave.
Yeah, Pinball Dave now, innit?
Yeah,
Dave's pinball. Dave in a
Dave's
pinball
Pinball
room.
Arcade, isn't
Dave on a pinball trip.
it?
God, we got some more questions. I'll get them all through again. Pub Grum Gaming. What is your favourite Sega box art? So let's make that a little bit more narrowed down, because we can forget the Master System because they were all dog shit. Most of them anyway. So let's go Mega Drive and let's say Saturn, because again Dreamcast was not the most interesting, were they? So we'll have one from the
No.
Mega Drive, one from the Saturn.
I would say Mega Drive. I really love Alien Storm, the Japanese release. I love how the art goes all the way round and it covers the whole case. I really love that box art. I'm just trying to think of a PAL game. Probably go for Streets Rage 2.
I'm going to suggest one, mainly because it's my favourite and it's kind of like a unique Mega Drive case, and that's Gauntlet 4. I like the cover on it, and it's unique because, as you say, it's one of those wrap round ones.
Yeah,
that is one of my all-time favourite games as well. Gauntlet. That goes back to playing games with my brother.
Oh, brilliant game.
He always used to be a fucker though, and let the death out when it was by me, and then fuck off and leave me. We used to sing, because you have to collect the keys and open the doors and stuff, don't you? And do you remember that song? I got the key, I got the secret. Because he'd always ask if you got the key, and I'd always answer, I've got the secret. And we still do that now, like for forever. Like we play COD, and you can get these red cards that are like keys, and he'll go, have you got the key? And I'll just answer, I've got the secret. We got a load of questions, Scott, man. You're a very, very popular guest. The Nameless Gamer, whose name I actually know and won't expose. What are your hidden gems on the Mega Drive? So I'm guessing that's like none of your AAA titles, something quite obscure, maybe.
Oh, that's a good one. A game that's not, I don't give enough hype as it deserves is Gynog. Wings of War.
I think that's starting to grow appreciation now, I think, because of the shmups becoming so popular. It's starting to get the recognition that it probably never got back in the day.
Yeah, no,
totally. I reckon that I think everyone who starts collecting Mega Drive probably starts searching shmups on Mega Drive. I know I did. And they're the first ones I try and knock off because I know they're going to be ones that I'm going to play. Interesting question here from a former host to a new host. What plans does Scott have for YouTuber of the Month, if any?
Like I said at the start, my plan is to just get it back to its roots and put it back predominantly for new and upcoming channels and channels out there that are good and just need that lift and that bit of exposure. You know, I think it's kind of been lost in translation a bit with YouTuber of the Month. And, you know, the sub count was going up and up and up. And, you know, the whole soul of YouTuber of the Month was for the smaller channels and to help them get to 1,000 subs. So I think that's my main aim.
I mean, we all know I didn't have a great experience with it last year. And I probably think it didn't help my own channel anywhere near as doing my own content. If I had any advice for anyone who wants to get anywhere with YouTube, focus on your own content. Try and be. It's hard to be original, so just be yourself because there's always only one you in the world, you know. And that's the only advice I could give to anyone because my channel grew quite a lot last year, but it wasn't so much to do with because it wasn't Gaming on the Grid's fault, and it certainly wasn't a host fault. But a lot of the American channels aren't going to come and watch me because I'm not squeaky clean. I'm not polished.
Yeah.
It's not TV presented. But if he had been a UK-based host, I might have gained a bit more traction from it. But I gained more traction from doing the legwork, which would be my advice to anyone who's starting their own channel, to be honest.
Oh, totally.
Have you got rid of the
sound
fucking
advice.
theme tune? Have you got rid of the theme tune?
Yeah. I don't want to give it away, but the theme tune dies. Don't you worry about that.
Brilliant. Again, another question from Pub Grub Gaming. What Sega game do you wish was remade on a modern console?
Shinobi.
Yeah,
Hands down.
good shout.
There's got to be a proper 2D Shinobi, done like Streets of Rage 4 or something like that. A new Shinobi game would just be, it'd be awesome. I'd love to see that.
I used to love Shadow Dancer. I know Conas Deloro does. He's a big fan of Shadow Dancer. I loved that game as a kid on the Master System and on the Mega Drive.
And it plays a lot different on the Mega Drive than it does on the arcade original. So, and I think I prefer the Mega Drive port of it. It's a great game on the Mega Drive. Love it.
I'd like to see Strider back again. That's another game I have a great bit of nostalgia for. Strider.
Yeah.
Interesting mechanism. Okay, here's a question from Raz. I hope you're going to be able to answer it. What's your favourite first-party Nintendo game? So I guess he's talking like your Zeldas, your Mario Kart, etc. Tetris, I'm guessing.
I do really like Mario games, don't get me wrong, but my favourite Nintendo game is F-Zero. And it's the one IP that they've just not done anything with for so long, but I absolutely adored all of the F-Zero games. And I'm kind of gutted that Nintendo haven't brought it back, to be fair.
I think it'd be fucking brilliant on the Switch.
Oh, yeah, totally. It'd be really, really good.
We'll bang through some more questions. Another one from a Nintendo fan. Do you regret not collecting Nintendo?
Not really, because my brother had a NES when we grew up, so I used to play Blades of Steel with him and Mario 3. But my nostalgia's for Sega, so if I want to play Nintendo, because I do enjoy playing Nintendo, I don't mind setting up my SNES Mini or something like that and just playing some Nintendo that way. It for me, the nostalgia of collecting is what's important to me. So yeah, no, I don't really regret not collecting Nintendo at all, really.
See, I had a SNES and a Mega Drive. I had the best of both worlds. Because we both had a Mega Drive. I think I had mine for my birthday, and then my brother taught me into asking my mum and dad to say get a Super Nintendo for Christmas, and that's how we ended up with we had a Mega Drive each because me and my brother couldn't share fuck all. We couldn't share nothing. We had to have one, even up until PS2, we had to have our own PS2s because we couldn't share nothing. But he taught me into getting my mum and dad to get me a SNES, so we had both in the house. Again, it wasn't brand new. Very few of my consoles were bought brand new. Mum and dad weren't poor by any means, but I was spoiled, so they'd buy me stuff like a big system that'd be second hand, and then I'd get all brand new action figures and stuff like that. So that's how we ended up with both in our house. We've got a question from Russ the Retro about what's your favourite arcade game and why is it Operation Wolf? So I'm guessing your favourite one actually is Outrun, isn't it?
Outrun's my favourite, it's got to be. But Operation Wolf comes a close second. And the reason why, again, is every year we used to go to Great Yarmouth on a family holiday, and we'd go with all my uncles. And one of my uncles in particular, he hated the sun. He didn't want to sit on a beach. So when I was little, he used to take me around the arcades. And I can remember having to get a stool and standing up on this stool to be able to play Operation Wolf. And I've got so many fond memories of it. And again, when that released on the Spectrum, I was at John Menzies with me $8.99 buying that the day it come out because I just absolutely adored the port of that. Every conversion of Operation Wolf I really like. So, yeah, it's got to be Operation Wolf, totally.
Stu's talking about Jade being a Nintendo fangirl. So what handheld did you have as a kid? Because to me, I think everyone had a Game Boy. I had a Game Boy and all my mates had Game Boys. Did you have one?
I had a Game Boy. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I can remember doing a car boot sale, and I was selling loads of my toys. And I think it was when I sold a lot of my Star Wars toys. I was selling everything just so I could get the 79 quid or whatever it was for for a Game Boy. And I was £10 short. And I can remember my mum driving straight to Comet, and she gave me the tenner out of her purse and said, "There you go, go get your Game Boy." And yeah, no, I loved my Game Boy. I really did.
I'd say a lot of my gaming as a kid was done on the Game Boy because it went everywhere with me. I had the fucking, the big carry case.
Yeah.
Because you had two sorts. There was the small one, and then there was the massive one. You could get about, I don't know, 15 games in. I had that one, and that went everywhere with me as a kid, man. We've got another question I just saw come in, and it was a good one. Let me get to it. I'll find it now. It was from, there we go. Question for Scott. If you could visit one other YouTuber's game room for the day, whose would it be?
Oh, what a question. Oh, that's a good one, that is. I think solely on the fact that he's got so many great arcade games, it would be Alex, Nintendo Arcade. Just solely for the fact that his passion and just his sheer enthusiasm with them old arcade machines, I'd just be lost in there. When he done that video on his Hang On and Robotron and all of that, I could just spend all day playing those games. So yeah, I reckon that'd be Alex, Nintendo Arcade.
He's got a great room in here, and now he's got that, and he's got a Vex as well. So he could have a blast on there. He's got a Lovex set up, to be sure. Just don't go up any fucking ladders for him. Another interesting question. Let me get to it. I'm not going to try and say his channel name. It used to, the artist formerly known as the Xbox 360 Collector. What's your favourite zombie-themed game and movie? That's an interesting one for us to go down there, because I've got a couple of questions myself.
My favourite zombie-themed game was House of the Dead. I absolutely love those games because I've always liked the light gun games. And zombie film. I would say my favourite zombie film from a critical point of view would be the original Dawn of the Dead, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. That film is brilliant. I'd go Dawn of the Dead.
See, I think he'd perfected it by the time of Dawn of the Dead. It was much different from Night of the Living, I think. Obviously Night of the Living started it, but by the Dawn of the Dead with the scenes in the mall and stuff like that were brilliant. I really enjoy that film myself. So my own question is, why the zombies, Scott?
What the Sega zombie name? Well, or just zombies in general.
Just what's zombies in general, and how obviously that's how it led to the Sega Zombie channel name, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was just solely on watching Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead when I was a kid, because it was very different back in the 80s. Your parents let you watch anything. I can remember going up to my local rental shop and just going in there and just getting any film off the shelf. It just weren't seen as a bad thing back then, and I was just obsessed. When I first saw, I'm sure I saw Dawn of the Dead before I did Night of the Living Dead, and I was just absolutely transfixed on the whole idea of a monster being a dead person. I don't know what it was, and I was just obsessed with it. And yeah, I've got probably 300 zombie films. I've got so many zombie films, and that's where Sega Zombie come from, because I love Sega and I love zombies, so I just put the two together.
No, it's good. Steve says the remake was class. I did enjoy the remake of Dawn of the Dead, to be honest here.
I did as well.
You mentioned there about in the 80s you could watch what you want. I was very much brought up exactly the same. Like, the certificate on the side of the VHS meant absolutely nothing. Don't get me wrong, I never watched them alone, but I'd stay up with my dad watching films. Like, I remember him having a copy of Zombie Flesh Eater on VHS, and I'm sure it shows you on the back of the cover the scene where she's being pulled towards the spike, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, but I feel that that's put me in a better stead to deal with life growing up. You know, I'm not so sensitive to the world around me and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
as I say, like I'd because my dad in the 80s, he worked long. He didn't work long hours, but he worked nearly every day because of the 80s recession. So my only time with him really was Friday and Saturday night, and he was usually staying up watching a film that I was probably a lot too young to be watching. Mr. Bad's mentioned one of the series in his one of his recent videos, the lemon popsicles. You know, the only way I can describe them, they're like they're like an Iranian American pie before an American pie was a thing. You know,
Yeah.
Confessions of a Window Cleaner, all sorts of stuff like that. I'd stay up watching with dad, like, and my dad had the shittest of shit VHS collections, but it was brilliant. But
yeah,
I think being less filtered to the world has put me in good stead in adult life. You know, it's probably why I'm like, you know, not offended by very much, to be honest, because I just brush it off, sort of thing. But 80s,
totally, I agree.
You know, you know how it gets like linked with, oh, if you watch all these violent films, it makes you violent. It's all bullshit, man. It's whether you're a screwed on person and you can differentiate a film from the fucking real life world and enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's what it all boils.
Totally.
Pete asked a question that I'm going to find again now because it was quite for Pete, if I can find it. If you could lovingly caress one YouTuber, who would it be, and why would it be me? That's Pete, not in me. Although I am kind of cuddly, but I think Stu's my cuddling partner, to be fair.
Do you know what? And I've said this before, and he did comment on the video when me and Jade mentioned it, and it'd be Rush, Retro Bear. I just want to cuddle that man.
Tickle his beard a bit, like.
Yeah.
Nameless Gamer, same theme. What hidden gems have you come across? Sega system, so that's Master System, Saturn, Dreamcast.
Oh, there's so many. There's so many great games. Master System. I know it's been covered a lot now, but Masters of Darkness, that never used to get the limelight that it deserved, because that is a really good game. I love. Everyone goes on about Alex Kidd, but I really liked Alex Kidd in Shinobi World. I thought that was a great game. Mega Drive, there's so many. There's so many games that just jump out. Just trying to think of one that hasn't been covered in a while. You know, this is the thing with YouTube. Now everything gets covered, doesn't it? But
Metal Jesus mentions it, and it goes up by £100.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to think. There is a game that's actually really, really good, and I can't think. It's a Blue Spine, and I'm just seeing if I can spot it.
You can't just say Blue Spine like that. You have to say it properly.
Blue Spines! Do you know what? And it's typical. I can't see it now. I don't want to say the name wrong because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But it's very similar to the X-Men games. Have you ever played the X-Men games on the Mega Drive?
Yes. Is it the Captain America one? No, that's not a Blue Spine, is it?
No, I think it's called Lost. Is it called something The New Generation? I'm trying to think what it's called. It's gone out of my head. And I will keep looking for it and I will spot it because it's a really good game. But no one ever talks about it. But yeah, there's that. And I really like True Lies. True Lies on the Mega Drive is actually a really good game. And I've been playing that a lot lately. Lost Generations. Thank you, Eddie. You've just saved me. That's it. That's the game. And I've just found it as well.
Crotch shot.
Crotch shot.
Show us the back, Scott. Because it show you the game on the back. Fuck me, them are the worst screenshots ever, aren't they?
I was going to say they're pretty poor, but it's kind of very similar concept to the X-Men games. It's like an action platformer, but this is a really good game, and no one really gives it any credit. But yeah, that's a hidden gem on the Mega Drive, definitely.
There was a game I used to like on the SNES now, thinking about, I think it was Spider-Man and X-Men, or Spider-Man versus X-Men or something. And you used to do a different level for each character. I quite like that. That's made me think now. I've not got that in my collection. I need to buy it. So that's what I'll be doing after the stream. I'll be going on YouTube, eBay, sorry. So what about the Dreamcast? Any hidden gems you can recommend on there?
The Dreamcast, I really liked, but it's a really pricey game. Cannon Spike, I really enjoyed that game on the Dreamcast, but that's serious money now. But no, most of them are. Is there any hidden gems on the Dreamcast? Giga Wing's really good shooter that not gets talked about. A Capcom shooter that doesn't get mentioned very often. I really enjoyed that. But you got so many arcade ports on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, I always say, everyone says the arcade came home with the early generations, but for it to be perfect, I always say the Dreamcast. And the two games I always think of are Virtua Striker 2 and Sega Bash Challenge, because I played both of them in the arcade.
Yeah.
And then when I played me, it was like, in fact, they were probably better than arcade, if you know what I mean, because they had a little bit more depth from obviously being home games. We've got an interesting question from Pete. Pete, Tastic, I'll let you answer it first because mine might be longer than most. Question for both. What pisses you off the most about watching people's YouTube videos? I'll let you go first.
That pisses me off? Trying to think.
I don't like people who moan on their, like, overly moan, like moan they should get more views, moan they should get more subs, stuff like. If I wanted to listen to someone moan, I'd fucking sit downstairs with my missus. You know what I mean? I don't want to come on YouTube and have people.
Yeah, there's been a few YouTubers that I used to watch, and they get so obsessed with their views, comments, and subscription, and all of that, and you kind of lose interest. So yeah, no, I'd probably go down that route as well. Yeah.
Obviously, everyone knows I'm not a fan of the Patreon or funding system, so that's like, I just don't like. If you're doing hobby videos, you're doing it for a fucking hobby. You know what I mean? You know, no one told me to buy this MacBook. No one told you to buy your MacBook. You know, you bought it to make the experience better for yourself. So that's another thing. Bad editing, like don't get me wrong, I don't mind editing. I'll do a bit myself. Like, the only editing I ever do is to promote other channels normally. But I've seen some bad editing. I'm like, if you're gonna fucking bother, do it right, or don't do it at fucking all. Just leave all your crap in, if you know what I mean.
It's kind of a hobby that I've picked up from doing YouTube. I'm actually really enjoying the editing side of things, but it's something that it takes me a long while for it to sink in and me to actually learn, though.
How much easier has it become since you've got a MacBook, though, mate? Because I worry now I could edit more than ever before, but I don't want to lose what my channel was by doing too much. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no.
Like, I'm at the stage now where I'm comfortable of putting videos here or a picture there, but I don't want to over-edit because that's never what I started out to be. But then I also think that's part of my channel growing now. I've got the software to do that, so maybe I should do a little bit more. I don't really know.
Yeah, kind of. And I think it's like, if you do something funny in your video and it's not kind of relevant, like with me, I noticed with my MacBook is you can keep so much more raw footage. So with me, when I just predominantly had my phone and my iPad, I literally had to record something, edit it, get it out, delete it, you know, and I was just doing that cycle. But since I've had my MacBook, I've found bits of like stuff that I've cut out where me and Jade are having a laugh, or I'm doing something stupid, and you cut it out because you think, well, it's just not relevant. But when you look back at it, you laugh, and That's why I put that little blooper reel together, because me and Jade found so much funny stuff.
I see all my outtakes they all happen in the first 10 seconds, all my outtakes, and they all get deleted because they all normally end with me ranting at myself, like saying, "Why the fuck did you just say that?" You know. Got a question from Pete. I hope that answered your question a little bit. Retro Quit, a Facebook poll. Dark Castle was the worst game on the Mega Drive. I voted 688 Sub Attack. Changed my mind, boys. I've played neither of those games, but reading the title, Sub Attack could probably be my vote as well because it sounds shit.
They are both shit. There's no two ways about it. I've played both of those games, and you know what? I done the CX roulette to get Dark Castle, and it didn't pay off because I thought, right, Dark Castle, I'll just go for it. I'll use me credit, get it from CEX. It turned up no manual, and I'm like, oh no, I've got to fucking buy it again. But but yeah, no, 688 Sub Attack is pretty unplayable as well. Ooh, yeah, they're both stinkers.
Right, we got a question again from Retrobate to both of us. What's your most valuable collection, please, including nostalgic for nostalgic reasons? So you can answer that first.
For nostalgic reasons, I would probably say
both. I'm guessing value as in cash. I'm guessing cash value and nostalgic reasons as well. One of each, I'm guessing.
For nostalgic values, it's got to be Operation Wolf. Because I don't own Outrun, the arcade cab. Money wise. It's that Sega Saturn game that I can't pronounce. And it's Japanese. Eddie will save me in the comments again.
I'll have to scroll down a bit. See, value-wise for me, I couldn't even tell you what my most expensive game is because I've bought them all really cheap or in bundles. So I could have a quite expensive game here, but I wouldn't know because I've probably paid 25 quid for it. My most valuable thing to myself is probably my Vectrex because it was something I knew nothing about until a couple of years of revival. I remember it. It was my stall at the Bescott, and they put, oh God, is his name Chris Parsons, the guy who made Big
Frontier,
and he made Frontier. He was stationed right opposite me, next to Alex. Alex's arcade machines were there, and I watched them all day. I went and had a little go, and I thought I like this machine. And then obviously I've been to several other revivals, played, and this year I was able to pick one up at the last revival before lockdown, and it's the machine that's had the most love from me this year. And something for nostalgic reasons, it's not my original one. It's my little Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers. It's the little blue one. Again, that was something that I remember from a very early age coming into my house as my present. And again, it became massively competitive between me, my dad, and my brother who could get the furthest. So it just brings back a lot of fond memories because you always remember someone getting a little bit further than someone else. So then the gauntlet was thrown down, sort of thing. And, you know, it's not an expensive item, but nostalgic to me. I look at that and I've got my Ninja Turtle Konami, you know, the one that's shaped like, I don't know.
The green one.
Yeah. Those were the two handhelds that were in my house that became massively competitive between me and my family. I'll scroll down and see if Eddie has answered that question. He's not saved yet, so Retro Bear's got another question for you. What is the most pointless?
No.
Oh yeah, I've read that before. It says the same words on the side as the front. What sort of game is it?
It's kind of like a side-scrolling hack and slash shooter, a bit like Alicia Dragoon, but set in sort of like mystical China with, you know, like demons and stuff like that. It's absolutely fantastic game. But yeah, I'd say that's my most valuable game.
So, Retro Bear wants to know, what is the most pointless game you have ever played?
Oh. Oh God, there's loads on the spectrum I could point out that are just awful. The most pointless game. Trying to think of a Sega one, something sort of like relevant. Probably Balls on the Mega Drive. That's pretty pointless game. You know, it was made just to be, oh yeah, we can do 3D graphics on the Mega Drive, but the game is completely and utter pants.
You can't mention that game then and not mention Rise of the Robots on every system it was ever made for, where you could just do one move and fucking beat the guy. So yeah, I'd agree with that. Someone's asked a question. Gav me, how long before Scott buys an Outrun cab? Sorry,
I have come close a few times. But whenever one slips through my fingers, a month down the line, you know, you're adding £300 or £400, £500 onto the value of it, you know. When I was first really interested in getting one, you could get one for about £800 to £1,000. Now you're looking at $2,500, $3,000, you know. It's that one thing that I wish I made the leap on 2 years ago. But yeah, no, one day it will be here.
Steve Addy Sneaker Freak says, Eddie, Echo the shitty dolphin. What a pointless game. You know what? I'll agree with that there, yeah, because I played Echo. I fucking swam around 5 minutes, couldn't get to the next bit, and I was like, fuck this off. I don't even know what I'm doing. I just wanted the dolphin to die. I wanted a shark to come and fucking eat him or something. Ravaging him. I was playing Lawnmower Man.
No, Big Gal now. I haven't played it yet.
Flintstones on the Master System is bad. Owen is obsessed with that game. The Flintstones. Question to both. What is the hardest game you've ever played? There's some brutal ones, man.
Oh, there really is. Oh, there's some brutal games. Some of the games on them,
they're all platformers, the brutal ones, I think.
Yeah. Oh, there's some really brutal games.
Obviously, you've played the Mega Drive version, didn't you? Ghouls and Ghosts. That's pretty brutal.
But the Mega Drive version's a little bit more lenient than the Super Nintendo one. I
was going to say the Super Nintendo one's known to be tougher.
A brutal game is Alien Soldier. That's a brutal game.
It's brutal for the wallet as well now.
Brutal for the wallet and a brutal game to master.
I don't think I've played any modern games that are that brutal now.
No.
They're all little, like, hold your hands and help you through it, like, sort of thing.
Pretty much most of the 8-bit games, if you go back to the 8-bit, they're brutal as anything.
I'll tell you what was a hard game when I first ever played it. Crash Bandicoot, the original one on the PS1.
Oh, I remember losing my temper with that game when that came out.
Also, Tomb Raider, not because it was a hard and unfair game. It's just you had to be that precise with it. You know, it's not like now where there's probably a fair few pixels different. You had to more or less be quite pixel perfect with the jumps and stuff on that. So I wouldn't say hard, but it was a challenge more than like it wasn't unforgiving. Question for Dane: what is your favourite wrestling game? Right, this is going to really fucking. I'm going to go for WWF Warzone, and it's purely for a nostalgic reason, not the gameplay. I remember when that first came out and it blew our minds that you could create wrestlers. And I used to buy memory cards just to make like wrestlers that I remembered from the 80s. So like me and my mate would spend hours fucking making wrestlers and not actually playing the game. And I enjoyed that side of the game. So there you go. WWF Warzone on the PlayStation 1. Ooh. What the fuck? Raz, I'm going to let you answer that, Scott, because I'm going to tell him mine. Question for both. Favourite music groups / artists that aren't metalish?
That aren't metalish.
Well, I don't know any people made of metal, so...
My favourite band of all time is Iron Maiden. But something that's not metal, The Prodigy. I used to love The Prodigy. Would you class that as a band? A group? Yeah, it's a group, isn't it?
I'm going to go for the band that I used to listen to the most in my teens, and it's a group known as the Insane Clown Posse, and I used to get all the albums imported to the HMV in Dudley.
Absolutely brilliant group. I loved the Great Malenko album.
Yes, the Amazing Jekyll Brothers. I literally have all of them except for they're still in my room up until their modern stuff. I'm not too keen on the modern stuff, but I used to listen to that music every day going to school.
Yeah.
So there you go, Raz. I'm an Insane Clown Posse fan. ICP. Question for you, Scott from Gurney. What's your favourite Game Gear game?
Ooh. I would probably go with Shinobi 1 and 2 on the Game Gear. Brilliant games. And they were unique. You know, most of Game Gear games were Master System games, but the Shinobi games on the Master System were exclusives. So, yeah, I'll probably go with them.
We've got a question for... I've not played this. I've got Shinobi, actually, on the Game Gear. I've never played it. Is it worth a play? I don't play my Game Gear that much.
Oh, definitely. If you've not played Shinobi on the Game Gear and you like Shinobi, you're going to love that. Honestly, Dana, play it.
I might give that a go, you know. I might give that a go. Scott, as I'm a cheap person, what is the least you have paid for a Mega Drive game? And paying nothing doesn't count. So, okay, what's the cheapest Mega Drive game you ever had?
Well, because I've been collecting a long, long time. One of the best bargains I got was Mega Turrican for 15 quid. And I was just blown away to get it that cheap, and it's mint. But yeah, probably one of the cheapest games I got was Streets of Rage. I can remember paying about 2 quid for that at a booter. But that's going back a long time. When
saying that, you can still pick up games cheap now. Like, you're not going to get your premium titles, but I'd say I've picked up FIFA for like £1 on the like Sonic as well. Sometimes I buy them purely for the case because the case is worth more to me than what the game inside it is. Sometimes to upgrade my own collection. Question from Addy Sneaker Freak, Steve to Scott. What's your top 3 Specky games? That's a good question, that is.
Exlon by Hoosen. Absolutely amazing game. RoboCop by Ocean. I love RoboCop. And, oh my God, Target Renegade by Imagine. I'd say they're my 3 favourite Spectrum games.
I'd say none of them because it's Amstrad for life. I just thought I caught another question.
Really good on the Amstrad.
Mate, the Amstrad gets a lot of stick, but I think it was a great system. Obviously, I'm biased because I had it, but you've got to remember, I had the Amstrad. I'm talking very, very young, so the colours blew my mind. You know, like the colours on the screen compared to, like, say, your Spectrum and stuff like that. Oh, someone's asked me, what are my top 3 Amstrad games? Well, we've mentioned one already, and that's Switchblade. I really, really enjoyed that. There was a game called Realm where you were a crown and you used to go around, collecting stuff. And I remember the game had, I'm sure it had Tubular Bells playing or something like that in it as well. So there's Realm. It's not a game that I can't even find any footage of it anymore because I've tried looking it up. I played that a lot, and everyone's going to laugh because I used to love this game, Postman Pat. Postman Pat on the Amstrad. everyone laughs because I describe it as like GTA before GTA, because you used to drive around as Postman Pat, but you used to have to do fucking missions. Like you gotta go and take, like everyone in that village was a lazy bastard. They didn't do nothing. So like you gotta go and take some parcel for some granny or something. Okay, you're a postman, that's your job. But then the farmer down the road, all his fucking sheep have got out. So him driving around Greendale, rounding up his sheep. But I used to love playing that game. There was another one, but it was only a demo I had of it, where it was like a worm race around a garden, and your two worms racing against each other. And it was really weird, like dodging obstacles. But I only ever got the demo of that game. I want to say it was called Wiggler or something like that. So there you go. Sorry, that's my answer. Right. Gashead Steve, if zombies broke into your house, which game would you use to bash him or her to death with? I like to only use the two genders there, Steve. Zombies can be any gender they want, you know. So go on, Scott. Which game are you sacrificing?
I'm trying to think which one's the heaviest.
Don't use a Dreamcast game. That would break.
No,
by picking
you ain't get nowhere. Yeah, it'd probably be Balls on the Mega Drive.
I'm looking at surely a Saturn. Then again, a Saturn case would probably fall apart, wouldn't it? You need something with a bit of weight.
I would be witty and say a Nintendo game, but they're made of cardboard. They ain't gonna hurt shit, is it?
You could always dash them like they're doing Shaun of the Dead, like get a collection of them.
Yeah.
And just skim them. Scott, what do you think of the Evercade? This is an interesting question if Stu's still in the comments.
Actually, I'm really interested in the Evercade, solely for the Atari stuff, the Atari Lynx. Look what you said, Dainster, about Switchblade and things like that. I'm really interested in it for the Atari Lynx, really, because I used to have nearly a full Atari Lynx set, and the thing that really lets them down is the Lynx itself. You know, there's some great games, but the screens, unless you're paying stupid money for a modded screen, it's probably one of the best ways to play Atari Lynx games.
You know what? I've mentioned this before. I was going to flip it. That's all I bought it for. And once I actually got the games in my possession and looked what was on them, again, Switchblade was one I was like, oh man, I haven't played this game in probably the best part of 30 years. And I used to love this game, and I started playing it. Super Robin Hood was another game. I remember having it on. Was it the Codemasters quadruple ones where you could get it in like 4? I played that. I wanted to go on that. And then obviously there was... I've obviously got Xenocrisis on the Mega Drive, but I wanted it with Tangle. And I thought, you know what? For what I paid for it, £100 with 9 carts, it was a really, really good price. And I'm also interested to see where it goes as a system, because like there's quite a few Facebook groups. There's a lot of chat about it. And I've said it could be a useful system if it brings some of the 8-bit games back in little bundles. I mentioned an Ocean like cart because I was just thinking of Mr. Bad's or stuff like that.
Brilliant.
I mean, they've got one of the carts being listed for next year because they've already got one independent games cart. There's another one coming out. So again, because it's legalized emulation, because the emulators are actually on the carts, I believe. These independent gamers are now getting paid for stuff that, you know, they wouldn't get paid for before. And if that then makes them create even more games, that can only be a positive for gaming in general. That's my opinion.
And also, I don't know about, you know, me personally, emulation is like, I can remember being so excited to get an Evercade. I was like, yeah, I've got an Evercade. I've got every single game on it. And I found myself just scrolling down the menu and not playing a game. You go in it, yeah, move on to the next one. At least with the Evercade, you've got a selection of games and it's kind of not so overwhelming with loads of lists of ROMs. You've got something to focus on and play. Yeah.
You know, it's obviously got a market and it's getting a little bit more popular now, which is good because imagine if it came out and he'd have fell on his arse after 3 carts, it'd have been shit. Whereas now there's a little bit of excitement about it. And you know, as I say, it can only be good being able to place. I mean, I'd love a little. Imagine if they did like a Spectrum set with a certain some of the old homebrews or stuff like that. That'd be cool. That would. Question from Neo's. Oh man, Neo Z. 1964. I don't know this guy, but I like his question. What's the best game to play when you're wasted? I'm thinking of. Go on. Go on, you
Back
first.
in the day, I always used to play Street Fighter. Me and my mates would get absolutely fucking wasted, and we'd be playing around one of our houses playing Street Fighter.
I'm going with GoldenEye, man, because there's a lot of truth to the answer in that.
Yeah, no, that's another one.
me and my mate used to play it together. Thinking of an old game that would like traumatize me playing Jurassic Park on the SNES. Now, you've probably got no experience of that game because you've obviously played, but there's a scene where it's a bit like Doom, like when you go in the buildings, it's like a Doom view, and the Velociraptors would jump out of anywhere. Now, I just imagine if you're wasted, that would fucking blow your mind. Obviously, if you've still got the American SNES, get a copy of Jurassic Park because it is completely different from the Mega Drive game and it's worth a play.
Oh, I'll have to give that a try.
Inks Northerner, both, who's your current favourite game developer? I'll let you answer this because I think he already knows my answer.
I really do enjoy what Platinum Games put out. They put out some good games. And obviously, I've got to say Sega, ain't I? You know, I think Sega have made a bit of a renaissance. They're coming back a bit. They're taking their time. They're not just publishing anything. They work really closely with Atlas and publish their stuff. And I think Sega, give them time, they're gonna be bringing out some good stuff, I think.
See, I've got no answer for this because I don't even have a favourite developer. I always look in the gaming community. There's like fanboys. Like I'm a fanboy of certain systems, but there's fanboys of like developers. Whereas I class myself as a gamer. I just like. I can't say I just like Capcom because I don't just like Capcom. I like certain games from certain people, and I'm very much a gamer in that way. I like to put the game in and play it, like sort of thing. Like back in the day, obviously, even when I was a kid, I didn't look at the developer. Like, you know, I didn't know who made the game. I like Salamander. I like Jailbreak. I like fucking Roland on the Ropes. It didn't matter to me who made it. And that's something that's stayed with me as an adult, which is kind of good because that would send you down like the subset genres and stuff like that and little obsessions like that, which I don't have. I just, you know, I like F-Zero, but then I also like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So I don't have a favourite developer. And, you know, a lot of the developers now who make games that I play, like your Call of Duties, I don't play FIFA anymore. They're just your big churners out, like, you know, so they don't even deserve any love. I just like playing their game.
Don't you think the game industry's gone a bit like Hollywood, though? You've got AAA or you've got nothing, and imagination, creativity, it's all gone in AAA now. So I tend to look at a lot more of the indie developers and, you know, the smaller games. There's some fantastic stuff that I can't think of their name, but the developer that done Streets Rage 4 and the Wonder Boy game, you know, them sort of developers, I'm more interested in what they're putting out than I am with the AAA guys, to be fair.
See, it's kind of why I've gone to see, because I fell out of love with COD. I used to play COD all the while, but I've found they became lazy, and it's why I went away from playing their multiplayer to playing their Battle Royale, because I play games competitively, so I like playing against humans that have got no forced routes. Like, you know, with Battle Royale games, it's an open map. Whereas when I found I was playing multiplayer, you've got two choices, run left, three choices, run down the middle, run left, run right. And that's, I said to my mates who I used to play with, I said, if you stripped all these maps down to their bare bones, if you took away like the little obstacles that you might have to jump over, I said, you've got three routes, down the middle, left or right. I said, it's boring, it's monotonous gameplay. And that's why I fell out of love. The last proper COD I enjoyed was Black Ops 2. and I've only come back to it to play multiplayer purely for. It's more strenuous on the mind that I'm thinking. If you know, like when I'm playing, I'm thinking. Whereas with like fucking the old CODs, it was just like you could go 3 ways and that was it. But as
Black
I say,
Ops 2, actually, yeah. Black Ops 2 was the only one. That's the last Call of Duty game I played.
yeah, I picked them up. Like if I could get them cheap, have a little go. But I really didn't enjoy them. I just fell out of love with them. It's just the way. See, I don't get engrossed in the music in games. I don't get engrossed in who made the games and stuff like that. I just know what I like and I play it, sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not criticizing anyone who does that, but you know, if someone come to me and said, "Oh, such and such made this game," and I'll be like, "Did he?" I don't know. That's me being honest.
Yeah.
Rather than bullshitting and saying, what's it called? Oh, yeah. I'm like, I have no clue, mate. It's just a good game and I enjoy playing it, sort of thing. So we've gone dry on the questions in the group a bit. So I'm going to ask some of my own. So now Jade's involved with your channel. Are you changing its name to Sega Zombies? Is there going to be an L?
Jade really wants a name, but we've really struggled to come up with one. I did put the question out there a few videos back. I know Tootie gave a long list of names.
How about the Living Dead, Jade? Zombie bitches.
Yeah, no. Is she still in there?
I don't know. For a while. I reckon the Living Dead, Jade, or something like that. Question to both. If you could only save one gaming item in a fire, what would it be? So I'll let you go
most
first.
Expensive one. That'd be the most expensive one because you can replace it.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I don't want to be boring and say the Vectrex again, but I was thinking the Vectrex because it's built-in game. So at least if I save that, I've got something to play as well.
Yeah, true.
Fucking Barco Butler. There's no in my lucky, it'd be the only thing that survived the fire anyway. She's here. She's still in the chat. She's lurking. It's Raz say, yeah, I'm gonna have to fucking. So the people who make FIFA and COD then, Dainster? Is that a question, really? Raz hates on anyone who plays modern games, but I hate anyone who only collect for like one fucking brand. So fuck you, Raz, and your Nintendo. While we're talking about other brands as well, I've got a note down here. Have you ColecoVision? Have you still all got that, or is that gone, or is it staying, or is it growing?
Yeah, no, it's growing massively. I've still got my Coleco. Craig Goodwin's place. I'm hoping he's going to save me, and because my Coleco died the day after my Dreamcast did, in the run up to Christmas. So I got some tasty. Oh, Jade of the Dead. I like.
There we go. First for a stream, we've named a channel or a part of a channel now. She's gonna have to get her own logo and everything now for when she appears on.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, no, love the Coleco, Dana, and it's something that I'm just going to keep on collecting for. But they come up few and far between. It's not often you see some of the obscure games, but yeah, no, I really enjoy because it fills a void for like early 80s box art for me.
Yes.
And I just enjoy the boxes. I love the art, and I do enjoy. Yeah.
So that would explain why Goodwin's place is bidding some low damaged ColecoVisions. Then is that right?
Could be.
I missed out on a ColecoVision at the boot sale, man. I should have really picked. Or did I pick it up? I think I did pick it up and I sold it. I had no nostalgia for it, and I just couldn't get on with the controllers. So I got rid of it.
The controller it takes a bit getting used to, but once you pull it apart and clean it up, it does work a lot better. But yeah, the downside is the controller. But graphically in the arcade conversions for the early 80s, it was different class to Atari.
See, I've got the Atari Junior down here, and I keep looking down at it because I only had the Junior because I didn't have space for a Woody. But now I've got space for a Woody, I feel like I need to get rid of it and go back to the Woody sort of thing. Question from Neo Z 1964. Favorite Bitmap Brothers game, Scott?
Speedball 2, without a doubt.
Oh, I saw someone playing. I don't know if it was Nerdy Geezer who was playing Speedball the other day. He was fucking 2-0 down in like the first second. It was quite an impressive feat. Just retrobate to Scott. What game is better on Dreamcast than on the PS1? Is that a fair comparison?
No, because Dreamcast was to compete with the PS2, wasn't it? But all the games they ported from the PlayStation, from the Dreamcast to the PlayStation 2, like Crazy Taxi, and then they are awful compared to the Dreamcast originals.
Yeah, so I'd say it'd be competing with the PS2. Then is there any that are better on the PS2? I'm trying to think what else they ported over. In fact, why did they port the Moho?
Was a PlayStation 1 game, which you can pick up for about £2 because of shit, and then it's about 300 quid on the Dreamcast, and it's still just as equally shit.
Oh, what's the game that I really like on the PS1? Courier Crisis. You know, when you're on the push bike, Courier Crisis. That is fucking ridiculously expensive on the Saturn, but it's cheap as chips. But that's another game I remember playing as a kid. Courier Crisis, driving around the town on your push bike. We're getting a load of names for Jade. I want a Zombie Gem. I'm trying to find the other ones as well. Tony Hawk's is better on the Dreamcast.
Yes, and he is dead right.
I've only ever played the PlayStation version.
Tony Hawk's is a lot better on the Dreamcast.
Right, Kev. See, I love Tony Hawk's. I've been playing. In fact, I was playing it before I started this stream. I was playing a bit on the PS4 remaster sort of thing, like so. So, Scott, with this YouTuber of the video, is it going to go up tonight so everyone can vote, or why is it up tomorrow?
It'll probably be tomorrow because I've still got some graphics to do on it. So, yeah, it'll be tomorrow now. Fair
enough. I've got a question down here that I thought would be quite interesting because, as I say, your channel over the last 4 years, especially the last year, has come on leaps of bear. What advice would you give any new YouTubers? Because I know there's a few in the chat and there's a few in the WhatsApp groups. What advice would you give someone who's just starting out in the world of YouTube?
I would say, touching on what you said earlier, is there's so many people out there doing it. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Be yourself and just be you. Be you. Stay true to yourself, and don't. You know, one of my favourite. This is something that relates to earlier on. What pisses me off is pickups videos are my favourite videos. I absolutely adore watching pickups videos. I love seeing what people have got. But when they just sit there and they go, I got this game, got this game, got this game, got this game. Oh, I got this game, got this game. I don't want to know that. I want to know why you've got that game, why you didn't buy that game, the story behind that game, you know, and to me, that's what a pickups video is about. And some people go, oh, what you do pickups videos or you watch pickups videos. But when you've got someone that knows how to do a really good pickups video, they're the best watch for me. And my advice to anyone that does pickups videos is talk about the game and why you bought it. Don't just say, I got this game. I got this game. You know, tell us why you got that game. Tell us how you got it. You know, and yes, share some history with it, or you know, say that you played it around a mate's house. Tell them that you picked it up from a car boot sale, whatever. But you know, don't just say, I got that, got that, got that. But yeah, that's my advice. Be yourself, and just you know, like you're talking to a friend in the room. That's how I've always
Yeah.
looked at it. Is you're talking to someone in front of you. It's my best advice.
See, a lot of my pickups, I normally have a story how I got it. You know, if I've got to some fucking dark end of Birmingham to go and pick it up, or
Yeah.
as you say, like, why have I picked up that certain game? How the deal went down? Because a lot of my pickups come from the booter, so trying to show people you can still get stuff. This is how you can go about it. But as you mentioned earlier, something else that's come to me then that pisses me off for YouTubers. I used to hate it when someone would end the video of saying, please let me know what you want me to do next in my next video, like asking people what you want to do.
Yeah.
You're never going to please everyone on YouTube. You're never going to make anyone happy. So, not everyone happy, sorry. Do what you enjoy. Because if you don't, I think the biggest thing that screams is when you see someone who does content they're not enjoying doing.
Yes.
And it stands out like a sore thumb.
Oh,
you know,
totally.
Just don't give a fuck. You know, like, I've been asked to do top 10s before, and it's just not me. Like, you know, because I can offer you nothing. I can't tell you who made the game. I can't tell you the history of the game. I can just tell you it's a good game and I like playing it. You know, and I'll tell you about the game. And if that's what you want to listen to, fair enough. But it's all just opinion. Someone else could pick up the exact same game as me and not enjoy it.
Yes.
And that's why I don't bother doing it. And I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it. And as I say, that is the other thing that used to annoy me is when people fucking ask you what they want you. We're not fucking public servants. We're doing this for ourselves, for our own enjoyment. So if you're enjoying what you're doing, just carry on doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Steve, I love Topper videos. See, some people love. I'll tell you now, I watch Topper videos purely for my own little research to see if there's a game I want. But would I be a good person doing a Topper video? Probably fucking not. And that's nothing against them because I use them myself to find games, but I'm not your fucking ideal host for that sort of thing, you know, and I wouldn't feel cool doing it, sort of thing.
I relate totally with that as well because my opinion would change, and that would bug me. Say if I done a top 10 Mega Drive video, the next week my top 10 would be totally different, probably, apart from a couple of games. So yeah, I do like watching them. I watch others.
Stu doesn't like it when someone. See, I normally share what if I bought something from the booter, I'll say what I've paid for it, or if I bought it from a game shop. The only time I don't share it is if there's money gone between me and another YouTuber because that's our business sort of thing. But other than that, I'll especially if I've paid cheap for it, I'll fucking tell everyone what I've paid for it. And if I picked it up from Boy Retro Bear's house.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I don't mind telling people, but if it's a deal done with a friend or something like that, I wouldn't. No.
Serious question from Jade. How about I start a Nintendo war?
Yeah, do it, babe. Do it.
Did she mean at her place or yours? Is that like, you know, like when you get a partner and they start leaving stuff, is she start going to leave Game Boy games across the shelf?
Yeah, she'll start a wall here, I reckon.
I like to watch top 10 game videos mainly because they give me. I agree. Look, I totally agree. I'm not against top 10 videos at all because I use them myself. I'm just saying, me as a channel and as a person, I don't think I'd be interesting or very fucking good at doing it, and I wouldn't enjoy doing it because, like you say, I'd pick 10 games out of here, right? And I guarantee you, I'll come in the next day and I'll see a game that I missed, and I think, oh fuck, I should have put that one in.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I mean, I could do a top 5 systems, and that could change depending on what mood I'm in. I just like having loads of shit around me. That's the truth.
Totally. Yeah.
So, if you had to play one game for the rest of your life, Scott, what would it be, man? What would it be?
It would probably be Street Fighter. Do you know? I'd probably pick a Street Fighter game. Probably Street Fighter Alpha 2 on the Sega Saturn.
Is Jade any good at Street Fighter?
No.
She needs to get good then.
Yeah. No, I can remember when we were first we first played some computer games together. She was like
Computer
kicking my
games.
ass.
Computer games. I've not heard them call that for ages.
Yeah, when we was playing, I can remember I set up the Mega Drive Mini, and we was playing with boys against Street Fighter, and I was beating them and that, and then I had to go against her, and she was kicking my ass, but I was like trying to be sort of polite, and then I sort of like turned it on a bit, and then she realised that I was kind of letting her win a bit. I kick your ass. She does at platform games. Jade is a master at platform games. She kicks my ass at them. She really does.
I think you need to get a Lynx cable and play a bit of like dueling Tetris, because you can do that on the Game Boy.
Totally. Yeah, we've got to do that.
That would make an interesting video. So while we're talking about Jade, I think it's great that you've brought her into the channel. Has it got you a lot more views? Is my question, because I'm just thinking whether I should. I don't want to bring my other thing because she doesn't know nothing about games, but I'm willing to hire someone who does.
I just think Jade brings, because Jade is someone that's just brought so much happiness to me, and she's the first person I've met that embraces my geek. She embraces, and she really loves the passion I have for the retro, and she genuinely really gets involved, and she loves the Mega Drive Memories videos we do. To begin with, she just appeared in the video to see, but she genuinely loves retro. She grew up with two brothers and played the Mega Drive to death. They only had half a dozen games, but they loved them games. And the same with the Game Boy. And it's something that we really enjoy doing together and having a laugh. And I remember us both saying, why don't we do a video on this, playing the Mega Drive games together? Because there's games that's nostalgic to me that she's never played, and there's games that she's played and I've not really got much knowledge of. And yeah, we sort of bounce off each other. It's brilliant.
Silly Steve says, I still say that Sega Zombie hasn't reached 1,000 subs. Around 150 of them are for Jade.
Hell yeah.
I tell you what, you got to do anything to get over these goals. I mean, you should start showing us some of the female YouTubers to give you ideas of how to bring in some more subscribers and that. I mean, I can think of a couple.
Yeah, there's a certain few that we could show.
As Tutti UK couldn't quote it quite better myself. Old James Game's own Bird Room's jumped on it as well, innit? I'm still waiting for Stu to get his missus involved, and I'll watch them videos then. My missus was. Is that your missus' claim to fame? She was the 1,000th sub. Is there a prize for that at all, Scott?
He's got to have a Sega Zombie T-shirt for that. His missus, isn't she?
Yeah, his missus got to have it, not him.
Yeah, not him.
Brilliant. So we're coming to like the last 10 minutes. So I want to swing back to the whole YouTuber of the month thing. How you look? Are you looking forward to it? Because everyone who I seem to see who've been the host have said it's been a big pain in the arse. But I think you're not going to get that experience, because I believe you're going to. One, you're a positive person, and two, I think you're going to put that much of your own spin on it. You're going to enjoy it no matter what. Plus, you haven't got me to deal with, I don't think.
I reckon I might have you to deal with in the future, but yeah, I'm just going to do what I feel like I need to do with it. Obviously, there's that awkward sort of like transition period of me taking it over. I think once that's sorted and I flow with it, I'm just going to do it how I want to do it. Like I do in all of my videos, I just flow and I do what I want to do. And I'm hoping I can project that passion into YouTuber of the Month. That's my goal anyway.
You say you want to take it back to how it used to be. And I remember Novabug doing it.
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be highly professional. You know, as I think what's happened over the last couple of years, and this might just be my opinion, but the hosts almost seem to be more important than the people who should have been important. And that's no pop at the guys who were hosts, because I think that's the American way of doing things. It's about being a presenter, whereas I think with YouTuber of the Month, you're almost like a vessel, like you're just here to produce the most important people. One, the guy who's won, and B, the channels he's putting forward. That is my opinion.
And I'm glad you said that, Danester, because I'm really worried with what I've put together. And I am just like what you said, the vessel. I'm the person that is putting the channel, the competition out there, and I'm handing it over to the guys that won, and I'm handing it over to them to do a lot more, because I've looked at YouTuber of the Month over the last couple of years, and I feel the same way. It's turned a bit more onto the hosts rather than that person that won. Let's give that person that won their moment to really talk about who they really like. Something else I've kind of changed that you'll notice is the winner will talk about the people that he was up against, and that I've kind of taken me out of it quite a bit. The host is taking that step back, and I'm just projecting it out there to what it's all about, and that is the winner and the nominations. You know, that's what it's all about for me. And it was really important, if I was going to win, was to put it back to the. I honestly believe if you get to over 1,000 subs, you don't need that exposure. Them channels that are sitting in the early hundreds or just started out, and you get that level where you kind of feel like you're not getting anywhere else, and you sort of like stagnate a bit. Them sort of channels, you know, that's what YouTuber of the Month's about, is to give them that push, that lift, that exposure. And, you know, if they can get 12, 20 new subs out of it, that's brilliant. And, you know, and get people watching their videos. And to me, that's what this competition's all about.
I mean, I say it was a negative experience for me, but it did give me a new enthusiasm to embrace myself on YouTube, sort of thing. Like, I think the first ever live stream I ever did was a stupid one from my shed, appealing for votes for a bit of a laugh. I did like a video where, see, the most important thing for me is when I was up, I mentioned all the other channels I was up. I know I was against Cine Steve. I also voted when I was up as well, which I thought was an important thing as someone who was up, is to give one of the other guys who I was up against a bit of recognition. I think I voted for Steve because I do enjoy Steve's content. I like Steve as a person, and I enjoy his content, and I vote for him. And, you know, it should be a bit more camaraderie about it, sort of thing, and stuff like that. And I'm so glad you've said what you've said, because I'm really looking forward to what you've done with it. And you know, if you hadn't been up again, I'd have gone forward to try, and I wouldn't have been such a tit and pulled out. If I'd have won, I'd have handed it to you anyway, because I believe, one, you're the right person to do it, and two, you should have been doing it last year anyway. That was my own personal opinion.
I'm just glad you said that, because I'm really nervous. You know, if there's one thing I have to say, I feel like a tremendous weight on my shoulders for this, because I know a lot of guys that voted for me, a lot of the UK community voted for me because they felt that they didn't like how YouTuber of the Month was going. And you know, I know it's a big responsibility to bring it back, and I just hope that people see what I've done. You know, there's lots of little, all I'll say is this, there's lots of little tiny details I've put in to this video that people that have watched YouTuber of the Month for years will notice. That they'll be like, oh my God, yeah. And I've gone back and I've watched Novabug. I've gone back and watched Tootie. I've watched some of Pete. You know, I've watched all these guys, and I just want to bring it back, rein it in, and forget all the gloss. This is YouTuber of the Month, and it's all about the guys that are being nominated and winning. You know, that's my main goal with it.
Brilliant. Mate, I don't think there's a better way we could end that stream with that sort of thing. I think everyone now who's in this comment, one, you should be subbed to Scott anyway. If you're not, sort your fucking lives out. Two, when he's got that video up, I'm looking forward to watching it. I'd like you all to go back over and support. I know last year I was someone who was massively against it. Let's all get behind Scott. Scott, you know everyone in the community thinks the fucking world. Yeah, I don't need to be the one to tell you that. We'll back you with whatever you do. If you know, Stu's in the comments, Pete's in the comments, you know, reach out to them if you need any advice. But I don't think you do, mate. I think you know what you're doing. I've got massive faith in you.
Let's hope so. Let's hope it rocks when it goes out. I'm looking forward to it as much as I am a bit nervous. But yeah, come on, it's back. We've got it back, and it's gonna serve its purpose and do what it's supposed to do. Let's put it that way.
Brilliant. I'm just going to highlight that so everyone knows that they can go and sub to you. I want to say thank you for coming back on live from lockdown. You were on with Gruss Newton last time, I believe, and we had a good old chat. So thanks for coming on. I know you're a man in demand now. I just want to say thank you and just give you the opportunity to pass on any messages to anyone watching again during these strange times of lockdown 3.
My main message to everyone is we're living in some mad times, and the most important thing is your health, your well-being, and just staying safe, guys. There's loads of crap out there. There's loads of stories and God knows what. Just look after number one, look after your family, stay safe, sit tight, and before you know it, this will all blow over.
Brilliant. Scott, thank you very much again from myself. I'm just going to drop you backstage while I sign out, but thank you, mate. Much appreciated.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
So that's the first one of the trilogy done out the way. I want to say thank you to Scott, man. He's been brilliant. You know, he's got a lot on his plate at the moment with his doing his YouTuber of the month. He's finding his feet. That's appreciating giving the time. But I wanted to get him on because, you know, hopefully this will make some more people to go over and watch his YouTuber of the month video that's hopefully going to be up tomorrow. Get your voting, get back in who you like. Subscribe to all the channels who are up and give them all a look if you don't know who they are. It's all about supporting each other. It's all about being part of the community. It's all about enjoying ourselves, guys. So this is for the first time, for the third time, Danestar signing out. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for commenting. And I'll be back next Friday with a new guest. Take it easy, YouTube. Good night.